I'm Canadian Barber, and today I'll be graphing and showing you how to get values for a cosine function. Let's get started. Okay, so my function is y equals negative 2 cosine, open parentheses, 2x minus pi, close parentheses, plus 1. Okay, so in order to graph this, we have to figure out what is A, B, C, and D. Okay, so right here, this is considered our A. A equals the amplitude. And our amplitude equals negative 2. Okay? And the amplitude is the distance from the center of your sine curve to its lowest or highest point. Okay? And then next, we will be finding C. C is known as your phase shift. This determines whether the graph shifts left or right. And this is your C. So C equals negative pi for right now. Okay? And next we will find D. D equals your vertical shift. This determines if your graph shifts up or down. And then this is your D. And the last but not least is your period. This right here is your period. So B equals 2. Okay? With a question mark beside C, why is that? So for right here, we have to make B go on the outside of the parentheses. So in order to do that, we must move this outside parentheses, however, divide pi by 2. And that's exactly how your equation is supposed to look. Okay? And when we graph this, you will graph opposite what you see. So your phase shift will be now pi over 2. Okay? Your key points for this. Your x's will be 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Why? Because this is a cosine graph, and these are the values that we use for cosine and sine graphs. Okay? And your y's will equal 1, 0, negative 1, 0, and 1. Why? Because when you look on your pie chart, these are the values that are in the cosine section of your graph. Okay? So now we're going to calculate the amplitude. Okay, so for your amplitude, you multiply your x's by your amplitude. Or you multiply your y's by your amplitude. So this would be times negative 2. So 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 0 times negative 2 is 0. Negative 1 times negative 2 is 2. 0 times negative 2 is 0. And 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Okay? Next, we will find your vertical shift. This is when you add D. Okay? And your D is 1. So negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. 0 plus 1 is 1. And negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. Okay? And these right here are for your y coordinates. For your y function. Okay? So in order to determine x, we will have to find the period first. And how you find your period is pi divided by b. So you would divide your x's. So pi, so for example, pi divided by 0 is 0. Pi divided by pi over 2 is pi over, no, I'm sorry. you divide your x's by b. b equals 2. So 0 divided by 2 is 0. Pi over 2 divided by 2 is pi over 4. Pi divided by 2 is pi over 2. 3 pi over 2 divided by 2 is 3 pi over 4. And 2 pi divided by 2 is just pi. Next, we will be finding your phase shift. Okay, so in order to find the phase shift, we must add c. So we must add pi over 2 to these functions. Okay, so 0 plus pi over 2 is obviously pi over 2. Pi over 4 plus pi over 2 is 3 pi over 4. Pi over 2 plus pi over 2 is obviously pi. 3 pi over 4 plus pi over 2 is 5 pi over 4. And then pi plus pi over 2 is 3 pi over 2. Okay? And these are your key points for the graph we're about to graph. However, we're only going to use the vertical shift coordinates and the phase shift coordinates to graph. Okay? Okay, so when we graph, like I said before, these are your x and these are your y's. So we're going to put these on the y-axis, on the x-axis, excuse me. And the other coordinates will go on your y-axis. Okay, and now we'll just plot our points as needed. So pi over 2 and negative 1, pi over 2, negative 1, 3 pi over 4 and 1, pi and 3, 5 pi over 4 and 1, and last but not least, 3 pi over 2 and negative 1. Okay, when you get to this step, you will simply connect your dots for a cosine function. And when you are done, you will write the cosine function. Okay, and that's my graph. Thank you for watching.